is that? Light work with the bass on the track, on my face to the back like I'm taking a slap. I need a drink, but it's straight from the tap.
What's good, YouTube? Your boy TSG, that soccer guy. Welcome to a match review for Brentford 0, Chelsea 1. What an absolutely crazy game that was, with Chelsea coming out dominating the first half completely. I really didn't expect how Brentford came out in the second half and really turned things around. It was getting a little scary there towards the end of the game, but fortunately we pulled through. I think the team talk that Brentford had at halftime definitely changed the perspective of how they wanted to play that game when they came back out. The first 5 minutes of the second half, I'd say we were pretty efficient in, and then the rest of the second half, I'd say they pretty much dominated. I truthfully believe that if Brentford would have scored, it would have been well deserved. I think in the second half, our defense was key to keeping us in that game. They were absolutely fantastic. I couldn't believe the lineup that Thomas Tuchel picked, but I was super happy he did once they showed their performance in the second half. I mean, I think they had quite a quiet first half. To be fair, I don't think there was too much going on from Brentford, but in the second half, an absolute quality performance was needed by the defense. I think between the defense and Edouard Mendy, with all the saves he was making, he was definitely the man of the match in my opinion. I think if it would have been any other defense on any other day, I do not think we would have got the result that we wanted. It could have even been a tie. It could have been as worse as us losing that game with the amount that they did in the second half. I think we got lucky with the result. Super happy for the result, but I definitely believe we got lucky with that result. I think for the next game, we definitely got to get back to the basics. We gotta start applying that press. We got to start performing a lot better. It was good, but it was definitely not good enough. I don't believe we should have given Brentford that much comfortability in the last 35 minutes of the match. With all that being said, though, let's get into the player rating. So starting off with the goalkeeper, I think that was by far Mendy's best game of the season. I think he's definitely earned himself a man of the match performance. I think if it wasn't for him, we would have lost that game. He was so influential in everything that he was doing. He came up with so many big saves. It was incredible watching how he was playing, especially in that second half when we had an onslaught of players coming after us, and I really thought we were going to get scored on, but he definitely kept us in that game. With all that being said, Mendy is getting a 9 out of 10 rating for this game. Now getting into the back three, starting with Malang Sarr. I think personally for Malang Sarr, he had an incredible game. As far as Premier League debuts go, I don't think he could do much better than that, especially on a start where if he wanted to prove something, this was the game to prove it. He got given a chance due to injuries in the team, and I think he did everything he could do to prove that he deserves to be picked more in this team, and for that reason, Malang Sarr is getting a 7 out of 10 rating for me. The next guy is Andres Christensen. I think, like I said, basically same thing with Malang Sarr. As far as performances go, you can't get much better defensively. The team was so good. I think the entirety of the defense was solid today. If one of them wasn't in, it could have went very differently. This team was heavily carried by the defense, especially in the second half. If it wasn't for them, we would have been scored on. I can't say that enough. I know I've said that enough in this video already, but I can't say that enough. They were all super influential. Christensen's another one of those players that every time he gets into the game, he proves that he deserves to be starting. Unfortunately, with the players we have, it hasn't been possible, but with this performance, I think he definitely should be starting games, and for that reason, Christensen is getting a 7 out of 10 rating from me. Now let's get into Trevor Chalobah. Possibly one of my favorite players so far this season. Everything he's done, every performance he's had so far has been amazing. He's proven the doubters wrong for sure. A lot of people, I don't think, just like his brother, would have seen him starting for Chelsea. But so far, Thomas Tuchel has trusted him, and every time he's put his trust into this guy, he's impressed. Every game, I can't think of a game he's been in so far where he hasn't performed. He was super important in this game. His importance in every game is there, but I think in this game overall, he was super important. He did a lot. He was perfect with his passes. He absolutely had Ivan Toney in his back pocket. He wouldn't let him do anything the entire game. There was a couple points in the game where I believed that he was going to get a yellow card. He didn't get carded. I was super surprised by that, but he did everything in his power to make sure Ivan Toney wasn't going anywhere, and for that reason, Trevor Chalobah is getting an 8 out of 10. Now getting into our right wing back and our left wing back, starting with the captain. Asp had another great game. I think overall the team performance was really well. In the first half, he was doing a lot. He was getting forward. Him and Ben Chilwell both were getting forward a ton. putting some crosses into the box, making some good passes. Him and N'Golo Kante were linking up really nicely in the first half, and I love to see it, especially since this is a position that you would think that Reece James thrives in more than Azpilicueta. Every time he's played the position so far, I think he does a great job. He's starting to prove more and more why he deserves to be the captain in this team for years and years to come. And he's getting up there in age, but he really hasn't been showing it this season. He's been performing super well. He's went out for Spain on international duty and performed well. He came back to team, he's still performing well. He's played a lot of games, and he's handling their pressure amazingly. And for that reason, we're going to go ahead and give Asp a rating of 7 out of 10. Now, getting into Ben Chilwell. Ben Chilwell's another player that I think performed super in this game. Obviously, is the reason we won the game. He scored the goal, and let's just say what a goal that was. Absolutely perfect strike on the ball off the half volley. I don't think on any other day it would have been that perfect, but he hit that just about as perfect as you can hit and put it perfectly into the net. Definitely one of the best goals of the season, in my opinion. I can see him getting a lot of starts from now on. He's 3 for 3 in for club and country, and I think if he keeps putting on performances like these, he's going to pick himself every week. Now, with all that being said, I'm going to give Ben Chilwell a rating of 8 out of 10. Now, getting into the midfield, starting off with Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Personally, I think besides Mendy, he was probably the best player on the team today. He played in a deep role, which I wasn't sure how he was going to fare in a deeper role, but he's showing that he can play in about just any position that Thomas Tuchel puts him in. He was super important. He was making incredible passes. His dribbling was on point today. He was going through players, going around players, turning, doing all kinds of skill moves. He was doing everything you would want him to do, and he's definitely proving why he should be in the starting lineup every week. I think a lot of people, including myself in the beginning of the season, wasn't sure what we were going to get from Ruben. He had a good spell at Fulham, but I didn't think it was enough, and I really didn't think he was even going to get into the team this season. I think this season for him is the season for him to prove that he deserves to be in this team, and so far everything he's done this season has proved that he should be in the team. With that being said, I'm going to give Ruben Loftus-Cheek an 8 out of 10. On to the next midfielder, we're going to go for Mateo Kovacic, another player that played really well in this game. I think, especially because of how well he performed in his second season in the team, we expect a lot out of Mateo. He hasn't been the best that he's been in the past this season, but this is one of those games, especially in the first half, where he proved his worth. He was making pinpoint passes, getting the ball over the top, putting in some really good balls into the box. Unfortunately, we were not able to convert those. I think in the second half was where he kind of slowed down. I think the substitution was definitely needed. He looked like he was getting a little tired. I think we needed that influx, and we needed to bring somebody else in that was able to press on the ball and do more. Overall, I'm going to give Mateo Kovacic a 7 out of 10 rating. Now, getting into N'Golo Kante. Just like I said when I was talking about Asp, I think his play with Asp was super important in this game. He even took another strike on goal. I love when N'Golo takes shots at the goal. You never really think they're going to go in, but you never know what you're going to get whenever he takes a shot. He was going through players the same as Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He was defensively, he was great. Offensively, he was great. I don't think he really put a foot wrong in this game. I think overall he was super important, helping with the second half, the team press. I think he's one of those players that when he's not in the team's performance just is way down. With him in the team, I think he's honestly one of the best midfielders in the world, and today was one of those games where he definitely proved that. With that being said, I'm going to give N'Golo Kante a 7 out of 10 rating. Now, getting into the two up top, Timo Werner and Romelu Lukaku. I'm going to go ahead and start off with Romelu Lukaku first. I'm going to tell you right away, his rating for me was a 6 out of 10. I think out of everybody in the starting lineup, he was the poorest. He did the worst out of everybody. The passes weren't coming to him. He wasn't getting very involved. He did score a goal, but of course it was offside. I've seen that becoming a trend with him lately. He's struggling a little bit to get everything together with the team. I think overall, as the season goes on, him and Timo Werner are going to become perfect partners together. I think they strive off of each other, and I think it's going to be super influential when they're playing together. Overall, I just think this wasn't one of those games that was good enough for him. I don't think he was really listening to Thomas Tuchel's instructions, and I think it was very justified when Thomas Tuchel decided to bring him off for Kai Havertz. On the other hand, though, getting into Timo Werner for me is getting a 7 out of 10 rating. Timo Werner, this is the type of game I love to see from Timo Werner. I think starting since like the end of this last season and coming into this season, he wants to prove a lot of the doubters wrong. A lot of the people that were saying that he couldn't do it. I think he wants to show them that he's absolutely ready for this season. He's going to take the league by storm. I think he's going to be one of our best players. I know that's a big claim. A lot of people don't see that. He's been linked with Newcastle. I definitely don't think he's giving up Champions League football to go to Newcastle. He has a lot to prove in this team, and he's been doing really well. He has a lot of confidence right now, and as long as he keeps the confidence up, he's going to become one of our better players for the season. Alright, now getting into the substitutions. I'm going to go ahead and put the ratings up on the screen right now. I'm going to give Mason Mount a 5, and I'm going to give Kai Havertz a 5 as well. I think at the point that they came in the game, Brentford was completely dominating. The press was super high, and I don't think that allowed them to do much of anything. They didn't come in and change the game at all. I think the same thing that was happening before they came in was the same thing that happened once they came in. They weren't even able to get anywhere up the field. Thomas Tuchel brought them in to be able to attack more and to probably get that second goal to close out the game. They weren't able to do that. They weren't able to get in that great of positions. And overall, I think for those two, they were kind of mediocre games. 5 out of 10 for both of them. As far as Reece James, I think had a couple good blocks. I think he did pretty good overall, but he came in so late in the game that I don't think I can give him a rating. Alright guys, so that is it from me. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button. Feel free to comment and tell me what I can do better in these videos. I'm fresh, so I'm willing to learn, and I definitely want to learn to put out better videos for you guys. If you enjoy the channel, feel free to hit the subscribe button. I would love to get some subscribers on this channel, and I'd love to hear the feedback from you guys. With all that being said, this is TSG, that soccer guy, signing out.
How heavy is that